Go to mypillow.com.
Good morning, everybody.
Click on the radio offer square. Use my promo code USA. There you'll find this special and savings deep discounts on all the MyPillow products. But only if you go to mypillow.com, click on the radio offer square and use my promo code USA. Or call 1-800-951-8175. Tell them you want the USA Radio special on MyPillow Premium Pillows.
Israel says its military struck Hamas targets in Gaza in response to a rocket attack. The Israel Defense Forces on Sunday said the Israeli Air Force struck 2 rocket ammunition manufacturing sites, a military compound, and underground infrastructures. A rocket was fired at Israel from the Gaza Strip on Saturday evening, according to the Army. The Army statement gave no further details, but emergency services said they had no notifications of anyone wounded, and Israeli media said that the projectile fell on open ground. Large crowds of protesters gathered outside the Georgia state capitol Saturday as part of a nationwide Stop the Steal protest. Georgia on Friday certified their results in the state. With many counties in Georgia forgetting to add ballots to the count, its validity is in question. The count dropped a 12,000 vote lead out of 5 million votes cast. Governor Brian Kemp said now, with the certification done, the law allows President Trump's legal team to officially call for a recount. USA Radio News.
Working from home? I'm Chad Dodd, veterinarian and consultant to Limpels. Here are some tips for keeping your dog fit while staying at home. Find 15 minutes twice a day and walk your pet at a decent pace around your place. Play hide and seek.
Bars, restaurants, Vermont react to states tighten COVID-19 restrictions.
Your dog is mobile. Walk
Pull
up and
the plug
down
on the
twice a day
restaurants.
for 5 to 10 minutes. Or better yet, try a power walk on your terrace or backyard for some fresh air. There are more helpful pet care tips at youmove.com, spelled YOUMove.com.
All eyes are on the Georgia Senate runoff elections the first week of 2021. USA Radio News' Tim Berg has the details.
Vice President Mike Pence is throwing his support behind Republican senators in Georgia. Pence making a stop in the Peach State on Friday and called for their re-election to ensure a Republican majority in the Senate. Incumbents David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler are currently in runoff races against Democrats Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff. Regarding those races in Georgia, Republican Senator from Arkansas, Tom Cotton, says,
if Chuck Schumer gets his way, if he gets the Senate majority, as we heard on the streets of New York just a couple weekends ago from him, that he plans to change America. I can tell you, having been in Georgia yesterday, the people there don't intend to let Chuck Schumer, quote-unquote, take Georgia or to change America, because his kind of change means hacking the court, raising your taxes, making Washington, D.C. a state, taking away your health insurance on the job, taking away your gun, giving amnesty to illegal immigrants.
Senator, I know
that's not what the people of Georgia want, and that's not what they're going to allow.
That audio courtesy of Fox News from the USA Radio News Phoenix Bureau. I'm Tim Berg.
A Gobbler's Knob tradition falls to COVID-19.
Punxsutawney Phil will have a much smaller audience in person when he makes his 2021 Groundhog Day prediction. The Punxsutawney Groundhog Club announced that there won't be any in-person attendees for next year's festivities at Gobbler's Knob, but that Phil's winter prediction will be broadcast live and streamed online. More than 20,000 people descended on the small Pennsylvania town this past February. From the USA Radio News Ohio Bureau, I'm Dan Naraki.
For USA Radio News, I'm Lance Pride.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host and do not express the views of WVVF ownership or Hometown Talk Radio. Content aired on all programs are those of the host and their guests. Hey, Joey, what's happening? I mean, what's happening in Middleboro and surrounding towns? It's time for the Middleboro Week in Review with your host, Joey Driscoll.
Mic is up.
Stay tuned for news, Middleboro News, here on AM 1530 WVBF. Hey, Joey, what's happening?
Try to be a little bit away from the mic this time. And good morning. Welcome to Middleboro in Review. Today is 11/22/2020. Too bad it's not 11/22/2033 because it would be 11/22/33, but that's 13 years away, so let's not get ahead of ourselves today. Good morning, Don.
Good morning. What did you say about what? 13 years? 13 what? What's that?
13 years from today's date will be November 22nd, November 22nd, 2033. So it will be 11/22/33.
Okay. All right.
little interesting, little funny thing there.
Yeah, sure.
To start off the morning.
That's, I guess so.
Yeah.
That's you thought all these outfall.
I just thought of it. And like, oh, okay.
That's cool.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. So we have a jam-packed program for you today. We're going to have a guest on the line today at about 7:25, somewhere around there, 7:20, 7:25, from St. Vincent de Paul. Her name is Arlen White. We're going to have her on talking about the Christmas time and how St. Vincent de Paul helps people in need during that time, especially with the gift giving program that they have as well. So we'll talk to her at about 7:25 this morning. We also have some other interesting things going on in Middleboro. Middleboro girls soccer has won a state title. We're going to talk a little bit about that too. And much, much more. So we have a great show for you today. But let's talk about the weather first. So right now in Middleboro, it is 33 degrees currently. So it is cold out there. It doesn't feel as cold as it says here, but maybe that's just me. 52 degrees for the high today. 60 for the high tomorrow, and raining. We have some rain in the forecast for tomorrow. The pick of the week, well, there's really no pick of the week this week. 61 on Thursday, but it will be raining. Really not a great week this week. A lot of cloudy or rainy days this week. Tuesday seems to be sunny, but it will be cold. 44 degrees. Taunton, pretty much the same story. 34 right now. 50 for the high today. 59 for the high tomorrow. And pretty much the same story. The weather for the week. Driscoll, North Dakota, currently is 24 degrees. And the high for the day is only going to go up to 35 degrees. It is fall in North Dakota. It's just going to get colder and colder as the weeks go on. It gets extremely cold in North Dakota. So it's just going to get colder. Driscoll, Texas, currently foggy and 62 degrees currently. 84 for the high today. 88 on Tuesday. So we're still looking at high 80s for Driscoll, Texas here in late November. So that is good news for people who live there and for people who may be listening. Get out and walk around and have a stroll outside because it's going to be nice during the week in Driscoll, Texas. All right, let's real quick talk about the big story of the week in Middleboro, and that is girls soccer winning the South Shore League Championship. This year, they've done extremely well, and they take home a South Shore League Championship this year. Fans of Middleboro High School girls soccer team have had their fair share of tense moments in the recent weeks, but their loyalty proved well worth the suffering Thursday night as the Lady Sachems took the South Shore League Tournament Championship with a 3-2 overtime win over East Bridgewater. After playing to a 2-2 draw in regular time, the Sachems and the Vikings went to overtime for the second time in 2 meetings, playing at East Bridgewater High School, facing elimination in the round-robin style league tournament earlier in the week. On Monday night, the Sachems held on for a 2-1 win, decided by penalty kicks. Back to Thursday night. The first 10-minute sudden victory overtime period went without a goal. And 8 minutes into the second, it looked like another penalty kick shootout was inevitable. But not this time. Ultimately, the game was decided from the penalty spot when the Sachems were rewarded a penalty when an East Bridgewater player was called for a handball in the box on a crossing pass that presented a good scoring chance for Middleboro. And they went on to score and they take a 3-2 win in the South Shore final. That's huge. Congratulations, Middleboro. Congratulations. This is a huge win for them. What is your thoughts, Don?
Again, Middleboro. They're the bomb. They're awesome. East Bridgewater sounded like a tough team, too. You lived in East Bridgewater, too, when you were younger.
Yes.
You realize that. So, yeah, that's right up Route 18, right?
Yes. Yep.
That's pretty good.
Very tough team. East Bridgewater.
Bridgewater's always had good teams, too. I mean,
yes, they have. They've always had some great
been a
teams.
competitive town, too.
So congratulations to both teams. Congratulations to Middleboro for winning the South Shore League title, and congratulations to East Bridgewater for putting up a really great fight in 2 matchups as well. They faced off twice, and they had some great matchups. So congratulations to both teams.
Good. It's good that some sports are being played still.
Yeah.
Despite the COVID.
Absolutely. It is.
Good.
It's great that
sports
are still being played.
Yeah, they're figuring it out. So that's good. They were able to. I mean, I know we got the levels are going up now, so I'm kind of glad they got that season completed before, because a lot of things are starting to shut down again, and it's good they got a lot of these sporting events that got completed, and they didn't have to shut down midstream, which is good. So sounds like an accomplishment.
So next up, we have a story that was brought to my attention by Don. A story that was from last March. And I'm going to read a little bit to you now. Turnpike Madonna, maintained nearly 50 years later by Diane Fontaine of Warren, whose father believed in the power of prayer. That is the title of the article. Regular travelers along the eastbound stretch of the Massachusetts Turnpike between Palmer and Sturbridge know of the shrine that stands watch from a wooden glen. Illuminated at night, it appears almost as if out of nowhere in a clearing. Known by many names, the Madonna of the Turnpike and the Lady of the Highway among them. This statue of the Virgin Mary has been stationed for about 47 years by the side of the turnpike in West Warren. The shrine is a testament to a man's love for his wife, who was stricken with cancer, and their belief in the power of prayer. In 1964, Alfred Bodor placed the 2-foot-high cement statue of Mary on a pedestal of field stones in the clearing. The previous year, his wife, Eldora, was diagnosed with breast cancer. She survived, and the statue was his mission to give thanks. Today, the statue and the area are maintained by Bedore's daughter, Diane F. Fontaine, and her husband, Elmer Bud Fontaine. He was just a little old farmer man who loved his wife very much, Diane Fontaine said about her father. On a recent weekday, the Fontaines made the short trek from their farmhouse on Knox Trail Road to the shrine. They donned hunter orange to prevent wayward hunters during black powder season from mistaking them for deer. A soft coating of snow covered the ground, and they moved across the wooden bridge over a brook to the statue in a clearing. Someone had left a Christmas tree. Cars whizzed by on the turnpike. Fontaine recalled her father had said that if his wife got better, he had promised God and the Blessed Mother he would erect a statue, and that he would do it by himself. She said her mother lived another 18 years. She said her father also quit smoking. He had been a chain smoker and quit drinking, although he wasn't a big drinker. The statue attracts a lot of attention. Turnpike travelers will call the police or the local church to inquire about it, Fontaine said. Some motorists even stop on the turnpike, something which is discouraged, to leave notes, flowers, or rosaries behind. For those who want to visit the shrine, Fontaine said, they can contact her family instead of parking on the busy turnpike. Some people leave rosaries and medals. We also leave rosaries for people to take, Fontaine said. We've met people from all over, people who have seen it for so many years. For many years, the family would find notes from someone named Eugene, who always asked that a prayer be said for him. She said her father used to walk up to the statue every night with a battery-powered lantern so that it would be illuminated for the nighttime drivers. As an anniversary gift to their parents, one year, she and her siblings had an electrical line run from the barn to the statue, so he didn't have to make the trek. And this is a very great article. It goes on a little bit more. If you want to read the entire article, it is on masslive.com. And again, the name of the article is Turnpike Madonna, maintained nearly 50 years later by Diane Fontaine of Warren, whose father believed in the power of prayer. That is the name of the article, if you want to read the entire article. So, my thoughts are that is a really great article, and I've never seen the statue myself. I've never seen it. Dawn, I believe, has. I'm going to move it over to Dawn so we can talk a little bit about that.
That article you read was what, 2019, right?
Yes, last year.
Okay, so I believe, by looking at other articles, when we typed it up, researched it a little bit, that there are new owners. And we were looking through the different articles to read, and we're trying to find the best read for the show. And that particular read was the best. It was pretty much explained everything. There's other reads which I didn't really find too appealing as far as reading on the radio, and Joe didn't either.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just a little bitter. I don't know. I mean, if you go on and you type in that Madonna of the Turnpike, or Madonna of the Highway, there's a few articles you can read up on, and you can figure out what's going on now. As far as, I'm pretty sure the Fontaine sold it to a new couple, and then I don't know, and then there was a new couple a new family that sold it again. So as far as I know, it's maintained and lit up. And the reason I thought about it was I used to do a auto part run in a tractor trailer from 2009 to 2013 for a company out of Holbrook. And I used to run overnight. And I'd be heading eastbound through that stretch of the Mass Turnpike. It's actually West Warren. And you'd be rolling by there sometimes 2:30, 3:30. And you come around the corner, and you know, even with all the sleep in the world, the night shift is the toughest thing you can deal with as far as driving. So the fatigue gets to you. You can have a coffee. You do what you can. You get your 8 hours before, but the overnight's is tough on everybody. People aren't meant to stay up all night, I think. But that, like I said, it comes out of nowhere. You come around the corner and you see the statue all lit up, and it always lifted me. It was like, you got to get home all right. You got to make it home. You got to be safe. You got to be, you know. It's just it always gave me a boost. It always lifted my heart, and that's why I wanted to talk about it. It's something that I don't think anyone's ever talked about it on the radio other than those articles. And it is lit up, as far as I know, and maintained. So that's there are other articles you can read too, but like I said, it was 4 or 5 articles. This was the best read, I thought. It was the most positive read, I thought. The other ones, I'm not saying if they were positive, negative. I just felt, and Joey felt the same way when he read that. You agree? Because we looked at a couple already, and we're just like, what? You know. Even we read a little bit and then it goes off the rails.
1 second, we have a phone call here.
Oh, great.
I believe it is going to be our guest. 1 second here. WVBF? Is this Arlen? How are you, Arlen? Welcome to the show. 1 second here. We're going to take a little bit of a break. We are due for a break, but when we return, we're going to talk to Arlen White, and we will be right back here on Middleboro in Review. All right. You still there, Arlen?
I sure am.
All right. We're just going to take about a 2 or 3 minute break, and we'll be right back.
Alrighty.
Ask if she's listening to the show.
Have you been listening to the show?
Honestly, not this morning. I got up and I pulled myself together, and here I am.
Ask if she knows anything about the Madonna of the Highway and the.
Do you know anything about the Madonna of the Highway in Massachusetts on Turnpike?
No, I'm not familiar. But it sounds like perhaps there is a vision or something like that.
Yeah, it's a statue that been maintained for almost 60 years on the Turnpike.
Yeah, it's on the eastbound side of the Turnpike. They call it the Madonna of the Turnpike.
Yeah.
And
Where on the turnpike is it?
it's in West Warren, Mass. And it's been maintained with a light and stuff. There's articles about it. Yeah, you just go on Google and type in Madonna of the Highway, Blessed Mother of the Turnpike, and there's a few articles.
I will have to do that. It's not an area that I typically travel.
Yeah, no.
I will definitely follow up on that one.
When I used to drive tractor trailer, I used to drive by it a lot, like in the middle of the night, and it was really a good. It was nice to see, and I was just thinking about it. We've been talking about it. I actually started the show out. We've just been talking about it. So.
Well, it sounds very special.
Yeah, just do.
Yeah, so we have a couple of PSAs that we play about St. Vincent de Paul. We talk about the food pantry on one PSA, and then we have another PSA that talks about all the rest of the services that you provide as well.
Beyond the food pantry, and honestly, they are many.
Yeah.
This year in particular, I think those services and availability of those services will be very important.
Yeah, especially around Thanksgiving and the holidays, sure.
Yeah, well, and I have a sense that following the holidays, it won't surprise me at all if we have even more more need for support assistance in the community. It's a tough time. This is not a typical year for sure.
No, yeah, especially with the numbers going up on the COVID cases too, so it's starting to go back to, hopefully we can get by this, because I don't think the restaurants can handle being shut down again. I think they'll take them out.
No, I think the restaurants and I think just the emotional support and stability of our families, and particularly our children, that has been a real concern to me, watching my grandchildren.
Right.
I think the importance of school can't be overstated. No doubt virtual learning has some merit, but I don't think it can replace the socialization in school hands-on learning.
It's funny, you always taught kids to share all your life, and now you tell them not to share, not to get close, not to hug, not to, you know what I mean? It's just such an oxymoron. It's nuts.
I suspect it's hard for the very younger children as they get older.
30 seconds.
And preteens, think at least they interface with their friends, the social media, the games they play interactively.
Yeah.
I think that there's some value to that, and I think they're all more accustomed to being on a computer, which perhaps makes it easier for them to work with their classroom structure. But nonetheless, it's hard for all of them.
I think once this is over, I think kids are going to want to get off the computer.
And that would be a good thing.
All right, so we have I'm going to come back in just a few seconds here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And welcome back to Middleboro in Review. Today is the 22nd of November. On the phone, we have Arlen White. Good morning, Arlen.
Well, good morning, Joe, and how are you today?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. How are you? Oh, 1 second.
To a good start.
1 second. Could you say that again? I didn't have you on the...
I said, we're off to a good start today, I think. We have good weather. To talk a bit about this morning, so I'm excited to do that.
So my first question is, what's your role at St. Vincent de Paul?
I don't know that rare is necessarily the word, but certainly I think there is true significance to the work that is being accomplished by St. Vincent de Paul. Our first and foremost concern is to expand our capacity to help others in our community who are struggling. Certainly with food insecurity, that is the primary focus of our effort, but also those who are in need of some small support, whether it be assistance in locating housing or some financial assistance with utilities or electricity or just any myriad of things that they might come to us for. This time of year, of course, they come to our program, the Giving Tree program. That is a program that I chair, that I am, very involved with and have been for several years because it is so very meaningful. I think not only to me personally, but to the families that we're able to assist right here in our own communities.
About the Giving Tree, how was sign-ups for this year? How did that go? Was it up from previous years?
Right now, it looks to me that we are going to be either on par or slightly over the numbers seeking assistance. It's interesting. Up until 2 weeks ago, or even a week ago, I would have said to you, I don't understand why the numbers don't seem to be as strong. But yesterday and the day before, we've seen just a deluge of calls coming in, people coming in to sign up for the program. I don't know if because of the pandemic this year, people really weren't thinking Christmas until now. But yesterday we were extremely busy, and because we have initiated a process by which an individual may call in and actually file out their registration online, I think that's making a big difference this year. So many people are still afraid to come into the pantry for sign up, and traditionally that would be how we would have handled it. But just to reassure any listener, every precaution is taken at the food pantry where our program is operated from. But everyone coming into the building is required to wear masks, gloves. We have protective shields so that when we sit and talk to someone, so that there is every precaution that local health officials have advised, we are following. But nonetheless, I understand totally that there is reluctance to come in person. So this year we've been able to make special arrangements to actually even have a call-in process.
And especially during the holiday season, the gift-giving aspect is extremely important during the Christmas season.
Well, this time of year, the holiday program is extraordinarily important. Of course, the holiday program kicks off with our holiday meals. I think you're probably familiar with those meals, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter. The Giving Tree program is really unique. The Giving Tree program offers assistance to families who are struggling and who may be unable to provide gifts for their children this year. And our program provides gifts to children birth through high school. We ask only that there be, proof of residence. We serve the communities of Middleboro, Lakeville, Rochester, and Carver. So we do require proof of residence, birth certificates, or social ID, social security card, or other appropriate official ID. And this year, the financial criteria has been relaxed. We know that there are more people who may need assistance than ever before, and we trust that those who come to us are only coming because they do need support.
So, does my co-host have a question for Arlen?
Hi, how you doing? My name's Don. I've got a quick question as far as availability of funds that you have. Are the funds secured as far as moving forward?
We have found our support to be as great or greater than we have realized in years past. We distribute our tags, which of course then are filled with gifts that have been requested. 99% of those businesses who have taken tags in years past have requested tags for this year as well. Many of them have actually requested more. Even companies who are operating remotely have found a way to reach out to their employees and made available tags. So we are comfortable that we are receiving that kind of support. Even the restaurants that I wondered if they would be able to help this year have all stepped up and wanted to take tags. And financially, there has been definitely increased support. I think there are so many people who recognize that there are others in our community who perhaps for the first time ever are struggling. And those who can want to share with those who have difficulty. So I think from a perspective of contributions, we are holding our own. Needless to say, every gift, be it financial or a toy or a gift, is welcome and will be absolutely put to great use. We anticipate up to probably 500 children that we will be providing gifts for this year. And just for those who may not be familiar, each child who is registered will receive 4 gifts minimum. we have the parent or spouse or guardian sit down, provide a list of items that that child might like. We always start out by ensuring that warm winter clothing is on that list if it needs to be. And then we always like to supplement with a toy or two, particularly for the younger children. And in years past, we've been extraordinarily fortunate that in addition to those 4 gifts, frequently I am able to match up toys that have been contributed to these children, especially the younger ones. And we encourage team gifts if someone is choosing to donate an item outside of the tag that they might have taken. Because historically, it's much more difficult to fill those requests made by teens or gifts that might be appropriate for teens. But we are always in need of additional support. And anyone who would choose could certainly be in touch with us at any time. We have a call-in number, and I don't know if this is an appropriate time to share that number. But if you like, I will. It is 781-523-9381. That number is the appropriate number to call for someone who is needing to register a child or children to be beneficiaries in the program, or for someone who might like to receive a tag or make a contribution. So there are a myriad of ways to contact us. And of course, anytime the pantry is open, we are available and there doing on-site registration.
So I have a quick question about Christmas and New Year's. When it comes to the pantry and St. Vincent de Paul, any events that might be happening during those two important days?
Well, certainly in terms of events, you're talking specifically to Giving Tree or to the organization, the church? Program holiday schedule, one masses for sacraments, for the distribution of our holiday meals. There will be some 400 families or households who receive a full holiday meal, including for Thanksgiving, turkey, potatoes, all the 16 desserts that would go with that. And then we, of course, have the Giving Tree program. Distribution date for pickup of the gift is Sunday, December 13th. It seems a little bit early, but it is really the only way that we can ensure that we have the volunteers in place, the program intact, to be able to distribute to each of our household recipients.
We just have a few more minutes here. Is there any other topic you may want to mention to to listeners? Anything you may want to mention real quick to the listeners as well?
Well, I think, yes. I think it's important to realize that this is the season where we all want to share. Obviously, we celebrate the birth of the Christ child, and it lends itself to being the time that we want to share with one another. But I think it's really important to recognize that the need is not only this short term, the need is one that is ongoing, so that any listener who is interested in supporting the work of our organization, be it physically if you live in the area, be it through the contribution of warm clothing, donations to support our ability to provide the financial assistance that is needed. It is a year-round effort. You know, the Giving Tree is a special program serving a special cause. We want to be able to bring smiles to the faces of those young children who Christmas morning will see gifts under the tree they may not have otherwise. So the important thing is now is this isn't a one-stop effort. It's year-round. We need support. We need volunteers. And we welcome the community to be part of our effort.
Well, Arlen, I want to thank you so much for interviewing, for doing this interview and coming on the show. I really do appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate having this opportunity, and thank you so very, very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Arlen.
Thank you.
Yep, have a good day. All right, that was Arlen White of Middleboro, of the St. Vincent de Paul. We are going to take a quick break. We're just about at that time for another commercial break here, and oh, 1 second, we're back. We're going to take a break, and we will be right back. We're right around that time to take another commercial break. So we will be right back, and you are listening to Middleboro in Review. All right.
She's still on?
Nope. Just asked a couple of questions, and
Alright.
yeah, it was,
I gotta
was a good-
let the listeners know about the noise. I think to quiet down now. I told them to.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I just want to feel that. Don't come over here.
Yeah, I'm gonna call her probably after the first of the year, or just before Christmas, I think too, maybe, because she did mention there was some events on Christmas Day and on New Year's that we want to really let people know
I
about.
didn't mean to say that. I meant just I guess she wants to try to get everything in. You know what I mean?
No,
It's just
okay.
in radio.
It was about a 15-minute interview.
Yeah, I mean, but as far as the segments, it should be like, I don't know, it should be like minute questions. You know what I mean? Back and forth. And the feedback too. What was up with the feedback? You think she was on a cell phone?
I think part of the feedback was on our side, just because of the mixer and your mic, but I don't know, maybe it was
You
because
know
she was
what? Mark said that to you.
Yeah.
Sometime. Make sure he said that. I remember Mark said that.
Yeah. And maybe
I'll call you from a landline. So
it's-
you gotta make sure that next time.
It's probably because she wasn't on a landline. Yeah.
Right. So next
All right.
time, just say, look, do you have a landline you call me on? And
No,
the
good.
landline's so much better.
Good.
You know what I mean? Because she could have been walking around, or she could have been in the area of her house that wasn't, you know what I'm saying?
Good.
But I hear that all the time with all the other shows.
That's, yeah. Yeah, I heard a little bit of the feedback and was like, what's going on? I tried fixing it. And I finally, I think I figured it out, you know. Yeah, the feedback was a little...
Yeah, I'll mention that. I'll talk about a little bit of the feedback and whatnot.
You don't have to. Don't mention it. Don't mention it. Don't.
No, I'll mention the landscape.
Oh, mention that.
Because you got the
People
feedback
may have
and then
heard
you
that.
got the buzzing, and it's probably like, what's going on? You know what I mean?
People may have heard that.
He's got definitely wow.
is in the lower
Yeah.
level of the parish hall on Oak Street, directly across the street from Sacred
I
Heart
think they
Church
turned their
in downtown.
blower power down.
At this time, we serve approximately 500 families in our service area, and many of them come to us for various types of aid. This can take many forms. Many of the following programs.
I'm gonna do Today in History.
Rent assistance, agency referrals, clothing,
Because I want to mention, because today is
lodging. For more information,
very important date.
SVD
Very important. Yeah, very important dates.
middleboro.org.
Mention that.
May the good Lord bless you and keep you safe.
Oh, you mentioned it.
Huh?
I mentioned that you mentioned it. They run off.
Yeah, yes.
They went here way too early.
Now, let me pick that up. And we're back here on Middleboro in Review. Some of you may have heard the landscaping noise in the background. There's a little bit of mowing going on.
They're running the blowers.
So, sorry about that.
Yeah, they're here a little early. I actually asked one of the guys not to come near the window.
It's
until 8
not
o'clock.
it's
They're on the other side of the
a little
parking lot.
under
Yeah.
over our control,
you know
but
what? You
it
can't-
happens.
They can't blame them because this is a nice day.
It is.
So
It is a
we
beautiful
got weather
day.
coming all week, so they got to get their work done. So I'm not really upset about it. You shouldn't be upset about anybody who's out working, trying to make
No,
a living, trying to
of
make
course
things look nice, trying to make the VBF studios and 14 Church Green look beautiful, and they're out there working hard on the Sunday. But they agree.
And we appreciate
every
every single person who is out there
Yeah,
on a weekend working.
trying to get things cleaned up and done nice, and we'll give them a thumbs up. I only asked them, could you not come near the window?
Yeah, that's the one thing.
Don't come near the window.
Don't come near the
Don't come on the other side. They're like, no problem.
All right.
That's the noise back there, and the feedback, Joey. What was up on that feedback, buddy?
Part of radio.
No, I think
I don't know what it is.
I'm gonna throw you under the bus.
We're-
I'm sorry, right on the air, I'm throwing you under the bus. Mark mentioned to you one time that you have to. I think one thing you have to agree. When people call, you have to ask them to call on a landline. I think a lot of it is both sides.
Yeah.
Because the cell phones, they don't, especially lately, and it's not. It's lately I found it on my cell phone. Just talking to people, I'm getting feedback on my cell phones, and I've noticed it on my phone in the last 4 or 5 weeks that I've been getting feedback that I've never got before ever on my cell phone on my service. I know I've had different service, but it's just I don't know what the phones have been acting weird. Cell phones, everything. So I think a landline is a safe bet, don't you?
Yeah. But I don't know. I don't know if she was on. I don't think she was on a landline.
I don't think she was on a landline either.
But I think I might have been on our side too. So
well, I hear you.
I don't
You
know.
play with the knobs and the buttons. But
Yeah, I did. I played with those.
every side helps though.
Yes. So
Between that and the landscapers, man, people are like, what?
So we are sorry about that. We had a little bit of technical difficulties, but it was an amazing interview.
It was amazing.
I appreciate Arlen White for
Yes.
coming on.
Yes,
I really
and,
do.
Ray
And also Ray as well. The past few months ago.
Yeah.
I appreciate him for coming on as well.
It's great, and but you do have little hiccups there sometimes. So, but yeah, they're not working near the window. They're working out here in 14 Church Green, getting everything, cleaning up the leaves, taking advantage of this nice day because I think it's supposed to rain tomorrow, right?
It's supposed to rain like a lot for the week. Tuesday is really the only day that it's going to be sunny, but it will be cold.
They need to get this day in and get their work done, and I understand that.
Yes. All right. So November 22nd. Today in history, of course, the big today in history, November 22nd, 1963, the day John F. Kennedy was assassinated. November 22nd, 1963, U.S. President John F. Kennedy is assassinated, and Texas Governor John Connally is seriously wounded by Lee Harvey Oswald, who also kills Dallas police officer J.D. Tippit. After fleeing the scene, U.S. Vice President Lyndon B. Johnson is sworn in as the 36th President of the United States afterwards. Of course, the events afterwards, Lee Harvey Oswald was also killed by Jack Ruby as well. So it was a really sad and dark day in American history. Don, your thoughts about the assassination of John F. Kennedy?
That was a very dark day in American history because it was in the middle of the darkest days of the Cold War, and there's so much theories on who killed him, and I don't think we'll ever know. To be honest with you. But
yeah, and we don't want to talk about the theories, but
no. But I mean,
there are some theories.
We're not gonna get into it.
We're not gonna get into it.
No, I'm just saying it's so much. 57 years ago, and there's more mysteries than answers. To be honest with you, and who knows? Who knows how things would have turned out if he was never assassinated? He probably would have went on to a second term, most likely, because he was a popular president. A lot of people liked him. He dealt with the not the Bay of Pigs, but the Cuban Missile Crisis pretty well, in my opinion. There's a great movie. It's called 13 Days, and I've read a little bit about it, watched documentaries, but this movie, and it's with Kevin Costner, 13 Days, is a great movie about that time in history. It's it's a drama. It's a great drama of what happened, and I'm not sure who did it. I'm not sure if it was Oliver Stone or who did it, but that was just a great movie about it's called 13 Days, about the Cuban Missile Crisis and how close we came to nuclear war, and and it shows how they dealt with it as far as all the pressure from the top brass and everybody, just all pressure coming down 15 directions. So that was a good movie, but yeah, I just think our history changed forever on that day. United States.
Also, he was a United States Senator from Massachusetts. He was born in Brookline. He was a United States Senator. He preceded Henry Cabot Lodge Jr. and also a member of the U.S. House of Representatives from Massachusetts' 11th District. He preceded James Michael Curley as well. So he was president, House of Rep, and state senator as well.
He also was a PT boat commander too in the Navy. It's PT 109, I believe it was. So he had he was born in 1917. So yeah, I mean that was a tragic day, and people were scared because they didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
I mean, there was an assassination of a president in 64 years. The last president who was assassinated, I believe, was in 1898. I believe it was 1898, or maybe 19. I got to look back, but
right around there, 1900, 1998.
McKinley was, I believe, assassinated in Buffalo.
Yeah.
And then Theodore Roosevelt was vice president, and he became president. And I heard he was in the Adirondacks on a hunting trip, Theodore Roosevelt, and they had to ferry the news to him that McKinley passed away, was shot. So that's a long time between. I mean, I think there's only 4 presidents have been assassinated. Abraham Lincoln was the first. Garfield was the second, I believe. John F. Kennedy, and the 4th one I just was talking about. I just tried to mind that, but yeah, it was only 4 presidents got assassinated in our history. McKinley, Kennedy, Lincoln, and well, I'm good now. I just said 4, but I can think of
all right.
around.
We have one more today in history. November 22nd, 1986. Mike Tyson from Brooklyn, New York, becomes the youngest heavyweight champion in boxing history at the age of 20. We have 2 birthdays to talk about today. Rod Price, English guitarist and songwriter. He was the guitarist for the well-known classic rock band Foghat. Very, very popular band, Foghat. A lot of great songs by Foghat as well. Rod Price, born on this day in 1947. He passed away in 2005 at the age of 57. And Jamie Lee Curtis. Happy birthday to Jamie Lee Curtis. Born on this day in 1958. She's an American actress. She's been in a lot of movies. Well known for the Halloween movie series with Michael Myers. The Michael Myers series of films. She's well known for that as well. As always, other movies as well she was in as well throughout her career. She has a birthday today, November 22nd, 1958. Alright, that'll do it for today's program. Hope everyone enjoyed today's program. Next week will be November the 29th. It will be the final Middleboro review for November. Until then, everyone enjoy Thanksgiving. Make sure to catch the NFL football games. There'll be 3 of them coming up, so that'll be on Thursday. So, until November 29th, everyone have a great week.